Back in Ollantaytambo, we ran into a few other adventure riders because they all passed through there on their way to Machu Picchu. A friend of a friend, this guy Alex, runs the Sacred Valley Brewing Company, and they have really delicious beer, so we headed over to the brewery to drink. It was nice to have actually really incredibly made craft beer. We haven't had beer like that since we left California. And then we went to camp out by the river, and the river was incredible. I think it was one of my favorite camp spots of the whole trip. At the brewery, Alex was telling us about the Sacred Valley Project. It's a project he started because all of the girls, a lot of them don't go to high school. They just finish middle school, and that's kind of it, because the high school is so far away where they're from. So he wanted to have a place where they could come and stay in town during the week. They started out by renting a building, which was not really sustainable. So they managed to build an actual dormitory of their own where all of these girls come and stay and can now go to school in Ollantaytambo. It's really neat. He gives them 3 square meals a day, homework tutors, counseling help. Yeah, we went and visited the dormitory, and it was just really awesome to see someone who's so generous and giving doing an incredible project like that. ¿Qué le gusta estudiar?
A mí me gustaría ingeniera.
¿Ingeniera? Sí, bueno. Ah, bueno. ¿Y tú?
A mí me gustaría estudiar 2 carreras también.
Sí, ¿cuál?
Arqueología y ingeniería.
Ah, qué bueno. ¿Y qué quieres hacer con arqueología?
Quiero saber la historia del Perú.
We got to play volleyball with them and eat some food with them, and we brought them some fruit. Oh, and they braided our hair. It looked really amazing. When we got back to Ollantaytambo, there were a group of kids protesting for their right to further education. A lot of the children have to walk many hours just to get to school and back every day, and really fight to get themselves an education. So people are working to try to make that better in Peru, including the Sacred Valley Project. We headed out on a hunt to see if we could find a cheap hotel room in Ollantaytambo. We wandered down a little dirt road, and a guy was coming up out of his house, and I asked if there was a hotel down this way. He's like, "Oh, I have a spare room, you can come stay with me." His name was Adam. Super cool gringo guy that's been living and traveling and studying Peruvian ruins for a long time. Yeah, he's super awesome, and he helped us sneak into the Ollantaytambo ruins. The Incans used their stone architecture to communicate different moods and feelings and ideas that they were trying to put into these buildings, and they would take stones from far away to have the colors and the textures that they wanted. They're very impressive and gigantic. Oh, and at the entrance to the ruins, there's this really cool local guy who happens to be blind, and he plays an amazing harp. Adam was really fun to hang out with. I think he has a dirt bike now. Yeah, he totally picked up a little 250. We went on a hunt with him to find some local chicha beer, which is Peruvian spit beer. They like chew on these berries that are kind of like strawberries and then spit them into a bucket and ferment it, and it's traditional, delicious beer. ¿Qué piensas?
No me gusta. Mejor sería frío.
It's not horrible. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say it's delicious. It is bearable, and it will intoxicate you. Oh, and we also went into this little place that's someone's house slash shop. It looked more like a cave, and there were cuis, or guinea pigs, all over the place making that incredible sound. I don't know, it sounds like sci-fi sounds. Oh, and apparently, once a population level of guinea pigs gets large enough, they'll begin to eat humans. Yep. So you gotta watch out. You gotta keep your guinea pig population in check. And on the walls there were skulls of the woman's ancestors who lived there to protect the home. Also in town I saw this guy sharpening knives. Pretty sweet setup. I made friends with one of the artesanos, and he taught me how to do some metalworking, and I made my first pieces of metalworked jewelry. He looked like a Peruvian god. We hung out in Ollantaytambo a few more days, and then we got on our bikes and rode toward Puno. The ride to Puno was pretty brutal. The sun was going down, and then it started raining, and then raining more, and it was extremely bitterly cold and climbing in elevation. Our waterproofs weren't working that well anymore. We were pretty much soaked to the bone. When we finally arrived in the dark, we found the first hotel that said they had hot water and motorcycle parking. I'm pretty sure I've literally never been colder in my entire life. I could not stop shaking for like an hour. In the morning, we caught a boat out on Lake Titicaca out to the floating islands, which were pretty cool. Really industrious of the people to have taken the local reeds and make actual islands out of them. And boats. The boats are the best part. It's amazing.
Boats are really cool.
Amazing two-headed cat boat that has spoon teeth. Very into it. Oh, and there was a pretty great lookout tower that you could climb up that was not the most structurally sound.
It's like Burning Man quality building here.
No, Burning Man, they have squares.
You don't get that. Grab that side, grab this side. And it was on a smushy pile of like reed islands. It sways a lot while you're up there.
It was pretty sketch, but you can get a better view of stuff.
We were at the border to Bolivia, essentially, only like an hour away, and we had decided because of time that we weren't going to go to Bolivia, we were just going to go straight to Chile. But then I had this dream of just like riding over plains of salt, and the next morning I woke up and I was like, we have to go to Bolivia, Andrea.
Fuck it, let's see the salt.